On testimony in Connecticut, they are officially on a little lunch break there, but that doesn't stop us. We got some stuff to share with you. This is the case of the missing mom, the murder trial against Michelle Troconis, accused of killing her late boyfriend, Fotis Dulos, who allegedly murdered his estranged wife, Jennifer Dulos, back in 2019. Apparently, surveillance video coming to this jury that shows Troconis and Fotis Dulos driving around dumping trash bags that ultimately were found to contain Jennifer's DNA. So while court is in that lunch break, we've been bringing you up to speed on Mark Davison. This guy's important here. We've heard a lot about the blood evidence that's been found. This guy, I expect, will help the jury understand the mechanism that led to those blood spots. And I'm thinking there may be phrases like blunt force trauma, something of that sort. Very important. Let's go back in for his testimony.
I'll show you what's been marked as States 30. Do you recognize that document? If I may, please don't read from it at this time. If you can, I can just ask you some questions about it. If you can, you can read from it, not out loud. Do you recognize that document, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
And with respect to, if I may just approach briefly, Your Honor?
Yeah.
With respect to the title, if I may, if it's okay, if I can direct your attention to this particular area. What is the title of your report, please? About that.
Bloodstain pattern analysis.
Thank you. Now, Your Honor, the state will be filing a corrected version of that. I'm offering it as for it in its entirety today. However, there are 2 lines that just need to be redacted for agreement with counsel. I am giving it to counsel for the witness now for use for the testimony to avoid wasting time. I would offer it in its redacted form. I would leave that as ID for now.
As long as I see that copy, then I have no problem with the procedure that the state is proposing.
What's the number?
30.
States 30 will be admitted as a full exhibit, subject to the redaction.
Thank you, Your Honor. And if I could just, I have not spoken to the witness regarding those redactions, so if I could just have some leeway with leading him through that when it comes to that part. Thank you. Sir, is that a copy of your report?
Yes.
Thank you. And specifically on the last page, sir, if you can go to that last page, did you add a supplement to that report as well?
I did.
Okay. And is that your supplement on that report as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Could I have a moment with counsel?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you very much, sir. If I may take it back. With respect to the analysis that you completed for 69 wells, sir, I actually just have a couple of questions with you. With respect to a blood BPA, are there different types of, well, I'll try that. What's an altered stain?
An altered stain is a blood stain with characteristics that indicate a physical change has occurred to it after deposition.
And are there different types of altered stains?
There are a few different types, yes.
What are some types of altered stains?
A type of altered stain is by definition and title called a wipe. So a wipe is an altered stain with characteristics that indicate a change has occurred to it, meaning that an object has moved through blood that has been deposited on the surface.
And that's called a wipe?
It's a wipe.
Okay. Is there another type of altered stain?
Another altered stain is a perimeter stain, which is a blood stain that consists of just its edge characteristics. The central part either having been wholly or partially removed. So there's some change to that blood stain, which can result from a number of different circumstances.
What about a swipe?
A swipe is a blood stain that results from contact between a blood-bearing surface and another surface with indications of relative motion between the surfaces.
And a transfer stain?
A transfer stain is a blood stain that results from the transfer of blood between surfaces.
Now, you had an opportunity to personally review the garage at 69 Wells, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and were you aware of the grid pattern sketch map that Sergeant Pearson put together?
Yes.
Okay, and have you examined that and reviewed that as part of your analysis and report writing?
Yes.
With respect to areas A, B, and C, do you recall that that's on the I guess, left side of the garage?
Left side of the garage.
In that area, A, B, and C, did you find any altered stains?
Yes, in areas A and B.
Okay. At this time, Your Honor, state would offer states 31. I'm not sure if there's an objection.
Is that the disc?
Yes.
No objection.
Okay.
Stage 31 will be admitted as a full exhibit.
Thank you. Sir, I'm going to ask you to draw your attention to the screen behind you. May I just inquire of the court and the parties if other TVs are on? In States 31, File 1, if I can, sir, I'm just going to ask you some questions if you can. Picture 1. When you said A, B, in areas A and B, is an area A depicted in that photograph?
Yes.
Is that the area that you're talking about?
Area A, yes.
Thank you. And photograph 2, did you find any altered stains in this area or depicted in that photograph?
There were altered stains or swipes located in the left portion of area A as we're looking at this picture, left central for the record.
Okay. I'm going to show you picture 3. Can you describe what's on picture 3, please?
So in picture 3, relative to the central part of the picture, the red portion of the stain that is on the surface, this blood-like stain, is characteristic of a swipe mark, which the characteristics there are relevant to movement between the blood source and the surface, striations within the stain, sometimes diminished volume, and sometimes an edge, a trailing or leading edge that is feathered in some way.
And picture 4, sir, you mentioned area B as well. Is that contained in picture 4?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And picture 5, what is that a picture of, sir?
This is this closer up picture of the central, central southern portion of area B. Within this portion is a blood-like stain that has swipe characteristics again, lighter in color, striations located throughout the stain, and some other movement relative to the floor of the garage in the center right-hand portion of the picture.
Would you mind, sir, Your Honor, may I ask him to go up to the screen, please, and point out to what he's talking about? And I'm going to scroll into this as I can. Can you just explain and perhaps point out on the photograph what you're talking about when you say?
You can go to the screen, thanks.
So I'm referencing this area here in terms of discoloration with indications of movement going from top right to bottom left of the screen. Direction is not implied. there are striations located within the stain, meaning lines or essentially parallel lines, which is another indication of movement.
Thank you, sir. And just briefly, going back to the picture 4, where was that contained in this photograph, or that position?
That is near this L bracket right here.
Which would be the upper right corner of the photograph?
So
About
central, slightly to the right.
central to the right. Thank you, sir. Okay. Now, with respect to picture 6, is that a similar picture to what we just went through?
This is the same
Okay.
area, different orientation of the picture.
Okay. And area C, sir, did you find any altered stains in C?
Not that had characteristics relating to the blood.
Okay. And with respect to this picture, did you find any altered stains on that is depicted in picture 8?
Not altered, but a transfer stain was located on the garage door in picture 8.
Okay. Picture 9, sir, when you say transfer stain, would you mind getting up and perhaps explaining what you mean?
This is a closer up picture of the second panel of the garage door on the left-hand side from the photograph we just looked at.
Well, so far, it seems this testimony is going to relate as much to reconstructing the cleanup as opposed to how the bloodstains got there and what biomechanics were involved. So we'll see. We'll take a break, come back with more out of this Connecticut courtroom story.